on the day where they're going to celebrate 200 games for Jared Mullen in the NRL. The kickoff is taken by Brock Lamb, and we're underway here at Hunter Stadium in the Holden Cup. Straight away, the Raiders have decided to shift the ball into the tramlines, and there's some space out here, but he's called it a forward pass. That's a big error early, Al.
Yeah, it certainly is. They showed some confidence there straight off the kickoff. The Canberra Raiders swinging the ball to the left-hand side there, and just out of Trey Williams' hands to Nick Kotrick. The forward pass is called, and that's a horror start for the Raiders there. Trying to start the game with a bit of flair out wide there and trying to catch them off guard. It's come unstuck for them, and the Newcastle Knights 10 metres out to start their first set of the game. The Raiders under plenty of pressure already.
I wouldn't imagine Coach Brett White, who was a bit of a hothead on the field, I would imagine there's some heat at the moment up there in the box as the Knights feed the scrum and go straight on the attack. And they've got the ball placed right in the position they want. Centre field, they come to the right-hand side. Just laying a bit of a platform now, the Knights. The defence from the Raiders, very good in front of their uprights. They go to the left-hand side. Lamb, a second-man play up the back. Not much space on the edge because the Raiders' defence is equal to the task and wrap him up. A dart out of dummy half here by the Knights, and an offload coming off the back of it. Juggled the footy and hung onto it. The Knights will be just trying to reset a bit of platform here to see if they can come up with the first points for the afternoon. Plays at centre field, a double second man. Cogger got away to Lamb. Now there's some space for the Knights on the edge. A big fend on one of the Raiders' defenders. Close to the line, the troops come and wrap him up on the fifth tackle. 2 out from the Raiders' try line. The Knights will be looking for a repeat set of 6 here. Lamb's got the footy. They decide to run it. It's on the ground. Knock on might be both ways. How did you see that, Al?
Well, I think they're calling a knock on first to the Raiders here, and it'll be Newcastle Knights, a feed again. We talked about getting that repeat set. Well, they've got that through an error there. It was Jack Williams coming through to dive on the ball. Goes behind Jack Cogger there. You see Jack Williams races through to pick it up. He doesn't. He bobbles the ball, and the Newcastle Knights. Plenty of ball movement as well. Some second phase play early on.
Opportunity now for the Knights, a fortuitous opportunity for them. And now on first play after the scrum, the ball's come out again. They're calling it as a strip. It'll be another opportunity for the Knights. The referee, I think he might have got that one right. And now the Knights laying the platform going forward is Amy. And he's only a couple out from the try line. Second man play to Cogger, who links up with Lamb. A short pass, the defence from the Raiders, very good, but the offload was good back to Lamb, and there's space on the edge. And the Knights will be the first to score this afternoon. It's Matthew Faitatoa puts the ball down.
Well, he just came into the starting lineup there, Faitatoa. But it was the offload out wide there. I think it was from Robson, the man. Some good ball movement between Lamb and Cogger there. And then the second phase play, catching the Raiders off guard there. You can see working nicely together. The short ball in and gets a second phase play there. Gets it back out to Lamb, onto Faitatoa out wide, and the Raiders, their defence just didn't have enough numbers there on the edge, but great ball movement. And that pressure pass right at the start of the game, off the kickoff, the forward pass, has just caused the early points to the Newcastle Knights, and a great opportunity, a great start.
No doubt about it. The numbers are always going to be stripped for the Raiders on the right-hand edge. Despite the good contact at the line, as Alan Tongue said, it was the offload that created the opportunity. And the Knights are the first to score. Pretty difficult kick conversion for the first one for the afternoon for Brock Lamb. Not too much breeze to speak about out there that I can see. As we said earlier, Al, it's perfect conditions.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful, isn't it? The ground looks immaculate. It's a fast track, no doubt. He strikes the ball well, though, Brock Lamb. I'm a huge rap on him. A lot of people saying that he will get his opportunity in the NRL in a not too distant future. Great say he's got that great combination with Jack Cogger in the halves. You see that the ball movement, but also the work off the ball in there, really stretching the Raiders' defensive line.
Australian schoolboy from 2014. His partner was Jack Cogger from that team, so they've got the good combination. Let's see if that good goal kicking continues. He started a bit wobbly, but he brings it back beautifully, and 4-0 becomes 6-0. The Knights, the first to score here on Super Saturday at Hunter Stadium.
It all goes back to that opening kickoff, doesn't it? When they tried to shift the ball out to the left-hand side, straight away the Raiders, a forward pass was called. The Newcastle Knights, a couple of repeat sets there, and Faitatoa scores out wide. A great start to the Newcastle Knights.
Good purchase on the kickoff too by the Raiders, and the Knights have caught it in their in goal and Now Amy tries to bring the ball out from the Knights' end. Coming on the keep going side here. Speed of the line by the Raiders is pretty good again. I imagine they'd like to get their errors down because early it's been far too many for them. Now the Knights working it out of their own end. Centre field. Looking at a bit of shape there. They're looking to shift the ball, both teams, even the Knights then, but they put it under their jumper and play the ball just short of the halfway line. Rolling forward now, the Knights forwards. Willing in defence to the Raiders. Just on the Raiders side are halfway. The 5th tackle's called. Brock Lamb readjusted that kick a little bit there and punched it low and hard towards the in goal. Gee, looks like he's got plenty of time out there to do what he wants, Brock Lamb.
Yeah, it was a fantastic kick. That was great set of 6 after points there. And the Raiders get a relieving penalty, which they'll be able to get a few more metres out of their own end. But it was a good set of 6 there. And you spoke about the readjustment with the kick there through Lamb. Just too much in the tackle. It was a good kick chase. Plenty of pressure coming out of their own end, just doing too much in the tackle on the Raiders. Their first set of 6 getting out of their own end of territory.
No doubt about it. That's what Coach Brett White would be wanting them to do. Pretty simple, the message, I would think. Complete this set of 6 and they go to their experienced workhorses back in behind the ruck. Now it's going forward by the Raiders, and 3 of the Knights defenders are equal to the task. Plenty willing in the early stages between these two teams. Wolford out the back now. And now the Raiders, once again, the speed of the line by the Knights is good and the offload not so good out the back. The Knights have come through and put it on the toe there. The winger, Soper Lawler, put it on the toe, and they're saying it's a knock-on against the Raiders, so more pressure, Alan Tongue.
Yeah, certainly was. That man, Jack Williams, he charged the ball in the line there. I think the ball came free with some good defence there. Just bobbles the ball, goes backwards there, so it's play on. The Raiders try to dive on it. He tries to dive on it himself there, Jack Williams does, but he knocks that ball on, and more pressure for the Raiders defence. This has been a horror start. Brett White no doubt would have spoke about that, and his side has put him under immense pressure.
They come up with points after the pressure before the Knights. What can they do this time? And they fan it to the edge. Here's some space on the edge for Gudgeon. The defence came through the debutant in Harry Van Dartel, and that's the boy from Dubbo has stayed there a little bit too long, and it's a penalty once again for the Newcastle Knights.
But you can see they're shifting the ball, plenty of confidence there with the Newcastle Knights, really trying to stretch the Raiders, especially catching them out on the edges.
Knights will get a kick restart well down into the Raiders' territory again, and they're on the attack, this time through Penn. Defence willing once again, wrap him up 11 metres out. Centre field now, Cogger's got the ball. Second man play at the back, that was forward a mile. Referees missed that one. I thought he might have been a little bit forward, that one. Nonetheless, they play on. Centre field, a flat and tough pass to take, and the Knights weren't able to do it, and the turnover with the Raiders have the football.
Well, a couple of pressure passes there from the Newcastle Knights. They'd be disappointed with that, and Coach Todd Lowry as well. The Raiders, this is a really important set for them. You can see Kotrick getting involved now. Some of their outside backs trying to get some metres there. Big set required, a good kick and kick chase at the end of this needed.
Yes, a must-complete set of 6, I imagine, would be the message going down. Here's a good carry, a solid carry. It might be Afamui who's taken the ball out of his own end, which is helping the Raiders. And now we're seeing that impressive back rower in Williams, who you'll often see playing on the edges in the centres as well. At the moment, just putting the ball under the jumper. Scheming at a dummy half was Wolford. I'm not sure it was the best option, and it turns out not to be. Put enormous pressure on himself, dummied and kicked the ball out on the full. More pressure, Alan Tongue.
Yeah, it certainly was. This start, it just keeps getting worse for the Canberra Raiders there. They got in some reasonable field position there, but it was Jack Cogger. He saw that Wolford was going to take the metres down that short side and get a good kick in. Great kick pressure, and another error from the Raiders.
I think the statistics will tell the tale. If you look at the completions, the Newcastle Knights 5 from 6, the Raiders 1 from 4 at 25%. Normally that means the opposition will continue to put on points.
Yeah, that's right. The possession here, 70-30 to the Newcastle Knights. It's all one-way traffic.
It sure is, and now it's Glanville got the ball, son of former Newcastle Knight great Mark Glanville. And he set a foundation now for the Knights. Cogger has the ball, scheming and turns it inside. Big pressure on the Raiders' defensive line here as Tanoa Brown is wrapped up.
Number 16. Tackle's complete, mate.
Referee just saying the tackle was complete and stayed in there too long on that occasion.
Yeah, Jaden Thomas just coming in to help Kalani going there. The flop, the tackle was already made. There was no need for him to come in, and some more pressure here. They take the quick tap. The Raiders still under plenty of pressure.
Continue with the blowtorch. There was certainly consideration for the 2 points. They're going to continue to go on with it. They go to the left-hand side, scheming at a dummy half. Lamb, he went for the face ball. I'm not sure that the face ball was needed. The referee said knock back. And Sopalola had to go back and retreat, and he'll play the ball 10 metres behind where it was first touched. Now they're resetting it through Faitatoa. The first try scorer this afternoon plays the ball. What have the Knights got in attack? A little bit of shape to the right-hand side. Not a lot doing there, a little bit one-dimensional, and the Raiders' defensive line was equal to the task and had the numbers. I'll go back centre field. No, they come to the short side. Cogger's got it. Sees a bit of an opening. Got in behind the first defender, but he wasn't able to beat the next. Fifth tackle now, the Knights. The ball hits the ground. Lost Brock Lamb a little bit there. Had the time and the patience to put the ball in goal. Better than that, Sopalola, the boy who scored 3 tries in round 1, has come through and scored the second try of the afternoon for the Newcastle Knights.
Well, a little half opportunity, and you see this too. The ball bobbles along the ground. The defensive line stops and halts just for a second. It was a great kick through by Brock Lamb under all sorts of pressure from the Raiders' defence, and Kotrick in particular. He had his arms wrapped up in the tackle, and Sopalola saw a half opportunity and beats Hickson to the football, and all that pressure. The mountain of possession that they've had 76% possession so far in the opening stages of this game, and it's taking the toll on the Raiders. Sopalola races away for try number 2 for the Newcastle Knights.
And try number 4 for the season after a treble in their round 1 victory over the Titans. Carries a famous name too around the Newcastle and Hunter Coalfields. The Lawler family very famous throughout Maitland. Frankie played a lot of footy around the area. It's a good start by the Knights, and so it should be. We talked about that percentage imbalance before, and as Alan Tung said, at the end of the day, when it's 70-30, it only means the opposition are normally going to get more points. Another opportunity now for Brock Lamb to add some more points. He's certainly the go-to man for the Knights, particularly in that green zone, that attacking zone down the other end of the field. And I'd be really interested to see what Kenny Nagus is saying to these young fellas as he runs the water for the Raiders. I imagine down the other end of the field and completions is important. Oh, the kick, it's come off the upright. I thought the first kick looked a little bit wobbly, and this one, it was relatively easy position for a kicker of his ability, and he hasn't been able to add the extra 2 points.
Yeah, it looks like he actually slices the ball, doesn't he, the way it swings away from him there, Brock Lamb, but it was a great kick in behind there too, wasn't it, to Sopalola to score the opening, his opening try of the afternoon. Well, I like the way that the halves are playing. They sweep from one side of the field to the other. Often we see, you know, in the NRL and in the Holden Cup, you have a left-sided or a right-sided half, but they're really combining well. They'll shift from one side to the other and both team up, probably like they played back in the good old days. It's nice to see. They've obviously got that combination from way back in the Aussie schoolboys. They continue that here today.
Something you can't buy is that experience together. This time they're seeing some space on the edges. Glanville, he poked his nose through and then got an offload away, and the Raiders trying to steal the ball there through Kotrick. The Knights are able to hang on to it. They go back centre field. Lamb gets the ball away now. Solid defence there on Tanoa Brown, a boy from the Altona Roosters down there in Melbourne. Plays it just short of the halfway line. Good engagement out of dummy half there by Joe Morris. Gives them a good position to kick on the 5th tackle. Cogger has that ball placed. Kicks to space. It looks like it'll bounce and keep going towards that eastern touchline. Good effort here by the Raiders. They're able to beat the first defence of Sopalola and bring the ball back 10 metres out.
Yeah, young Jack Hickson, he needed to get on that ball there. Great kick in there behind by Cogger there, Sopalola. And Kenny Nagus, you can see on the sideline there with the headsets on, getting plenty of messages, no doubt, to get out to his team. But great work by Hickson there. Got upfield, and now they've got a penalty, a relieving penalty out of their own end to drive that ball down. They'll slow it down. They're really struggling up against a 75% possession to the Newcastle Knights. Some more important sets of 6 coming up for them.
That sun blazing down out there. No wonder Kenny's got the bucket hat on. He looks like he could be at Bondi Beach, and he's also decided not to run the water. Too hot for Kenny this afternoon. Now the Raiders, they get their first opportunity with any real field possession. Wolford pointing at something there and screaming at the pocket referee, looking for a... Gee, that's good contact there. One of the Knights coming in. It was the back rower in Tui Lotalava. Put a big shot on, but it didn't worry the Raiders. They've continued to carry the ball downfield. Can they come up with some points? Backing their way downfield this time. Plenty of instructions from the Knights. Wolford out of dummy half. Always dangerous this far out. Beats the first one and he's able to crash his way over. Zach Wolford, he's certainly been a player that's been able to find the try line in the first couple of rounds, and the son of the great Simon crashes over the first try for the afternoon for the Raiders.
Yeah, what a great play from Zach Wolford. Anytime there's a marker down, he takes off. He's done this a couple of times, scored a couple of tries already so far this season. You can see the marker left on the ground. He takes off. He's got numbers to his left. He doesn't need them. Shows great strength, speed and evasion to get the ball down, and didn't the Raiders need that? They were shot for all money. They get a relieving penalty down the other end of the field. Zach Wolford, he finds a player on the ground napping, makes the most of it, and he is barking orders at his troops there. He knows where they need to be and what they need to do, and his goal kicking, it's been fantastic so far this season as well.
We spoke about that in the pre-game interview with him. 9 from 10. He spent a bit of time in the pre-season with the great Chook Darryl Halligan, and also with some of the kickers, Caesar and also Croker. And gee, didn't he look like his old man when he got up barking then, Simon Wolford. Not surprisingly, Alice, stat to come out of that. That's their first play the ball in the attacking 20, and they come up with points. So they know they can do it. No doubt about it. Wolford now has the ball placed. Would love to make 10-4 become 10-6. Strikes it. He tugged a little left. Another one has hit the uprights. It'll remain at 10 points to 4. Raiders are finally on the scoreboard.
Yeah, we'll put the mock on him, haven't we? Straight away, we're talking about how good his goal kicking is. But both kickers have really struggled with the ball off there. Not a huge amount of breeze, but great work out of dummy half there. He's smart. He always loves going down a short side, or if there's a marker down on the ground there, he takes off. Kicks off both feet as well. You often see him throw in a left foot kick as well, coming out of his own end. So he's got plenty of skills and plenty of smarts.
Interesting observation there regarding the footballs. There is a bit of talk around that they're a little different in season 2016, and the goal kicking percentages are down. This is a must-complete set of 6 here for the Raiders, and a good carry. He's able to get the ball over the 30-metre line. It's that man Afamui again, and on the back of that now it's the second rower in going, doing a wonderful job. Now they've got their legs rolling underneath them, the Raiders. They're going to steam it over the halfway line. Afamui backing up for another carry. 2 in 3 play the balls. Pretty slow over the top too. The Knights could have easily been a penalty. Playing at the back, there's some space on the edge too. The Raiders, if they could get the ball there. The Knights knew that there was danger, and Fata Tui come in off his centre and put some pressure on the back row. 5th tackle now, the Raiders. They'd like to complete this with a good kick, an attacking kick. The ball up there by Lewis, and it just didn't quite get high enough to give his chasers the opportunity to come down and put some real pressure on the Knights.
Yeah, good work from the outside backs and the Newcastle Knights. Henry Penn in particular shielding the ball there. But it was a good set of 6 from the Raiders, about 60 metres upfield and a good high towering kick. They would have liked a contest on the back end of it, but still a good completion after points.
Tui Lotalava's got the ball now. The Knights have done a pretty good job at laying the foundation. It's the first time we've really seen them under some pressure from their own end, and they're able to get to the halfway line pretty comfortably. Lamb knows the importance of completing this set of 6. Once again, has the good vision, kicks the ball way down deep for the Raiders to bring it back off their own line.
Yeah, great kick by Brock Lamb, but good work in the backfield there. Trey Williams also linking up with Harry Van Dartel as well to get that, and they get a penalty once again. The Newcastle Knights, they let the Raiders off the hook there only a couple sets before, and they made them pay through that Wolford try. An awful kick to the sideline here from Lachlan Lewis, and Sopalula taps it back infield.
Didn't he do a wonderful job? The youngster got a try already. He did a wonderful job. Like you say, the pressure valve continues for the Raiders, not able to find touch. The Cardinals sin. In the meantime, the Knights back centre field and into the attacking zone. Cogger's got the ball. He'll be looking to link up with Lamb out the back. This time he face balls it and bounce, and Gudgeon does a good job to pick it up. Beats the first defender, and there's some space. Oh dear, that might be high. One certainly snuck up there. I think it might have been Daniel Dole,
Number 10.
who would have done a tower of work once again. Maybe just a little tired, that one, Al.
Yeah, that's right. And we speak so often about possession. And this, as Daniel Dole's tackle goes on report there, comes over the top.
I'll come here, mate, and then I'll go through.
He might be in some trouble there, Daniel Dole. What about this? 205 metres, 31 tackles last week. He's so important to this side. A loose shot there over the top.
Yep.
And he goes on report.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Alan Tung. He might have a few issues. I spoke to Brett White last night, the coach, and he said, geez, impressed with this youngster. He's carrying a little bit of a knock as well, but thinks he was able to get through today's game. And yes, no doubt that one will be reviewed. It is put on report. Now the Knights, more possession for them in good field position. Centre field, they could go either side. They come to the right through Cogger, who gets the ball out now. Here's an opportunity for the centre in Henry Penn. Going towards the line, he's in the in goal. I think he'll be held up.
Back here, mate.
That's what the referee called.
He's a real handful, isn't he? Penn on the outside there. Good, strong fend up against the youngster and Nick Kotrick. There's a real battle going on out there on that right edge for the Newcastle Knights. Yeah,
one of the highlights, it will be throughout this game today. And now the Knights, they quickly get to the uprights, to the right-hand side of the uprights, and they've got good field position to go to the left. And Lamb does that. Now it's out the back to the fullback. Here's the try scorer for the first time. He nearly gets there again on this opportunity is Fighter Toa. He's dangerous with the opportunities he's had. Now the Knights will need to reset back into the centre field. And it's Tui Lotalava's got the ball away. Tell you what, they've got some offload in them, the Knights. Fifth tackle, centre field. Oh, that's a crucial penalty.
You're crowding on top of him.
I think it might have been Lewis was the one who was in the indiscretion. That hurts.
And you think the Newcastle Knights will continue here. They won't go for the 2 points. They know how much pressure the Raiders are under at the moment. You want to continue that on them. You see just starting to slip off a few tackles and the Knights getting some second phase play. Quick tap taken.
You're right, Alan. They're going to keep the blowtorch on. The pressure's on the Raiders. Can they hold it? They're only a metre out centre field. Perfect position for the Knights. Cogger to Lamb. The defence was up this time, was Kotrick. He knows he needed to cut off Lamb. He wasn't able to drag him down, though. And Lamb schemes across centre field, back into the pack where the forwards wrap him up. 5 metres out. This time they go to the left. Little dummy by Morris. Wasn't able to beat the Raiders. They were onto it. But a pretty quick play the ball as Cogger's now got it. And a face ball. Fighter Toa's got it again. The battle with his centre's been a big one. Nearly bounced out of the first tackle, but in the end it was wrapped up only a metre out. The Knights now need to reset. Cogger gets the ball flat on the outside to Tanoa Brown. And he plays it on the fifth tackle. They'll be looking for a repeat set of 6 at least, and Cogger's got the ball. Can he put it in behind? He can do better than that. Oh, I think he might have dropped it, Sopalola. He certainly got the ball to the in goal. They're going to the spot. I tell you what, the lad's done well. That's the 5th try for 2016. From the naked eye, I thought he might have dropped the ball.
Well, what about this? It was a great set of hands, great speed shown by Sopalola. Cogger comes in down that short side and just puts it on the toe, a death touch. That was a beautiful kick and gets the ball down there. Sopalola as he runs out of the backfield of the play there, but great kick in behind there by Cogger. Does he get the ball down? He certainly does. He is a noted try scorer already. We've spoken about the 3 tries in round 1. He's got a couple today. Great speed, great work by the halves though as well. Lamb heavily involved, and this time Cogger with a nice, neat little kick in behind. But again, it comes on the amount of possession that the Newcastle Knights have had in the great field position.
I owe a big apology. Wasn't he fantastic? He was nearly Forrest Gump at the end. He nearly run out of the stadium. He did a wonderful job. He certainly can find the try line. 5 tries already, and we're only into round 3 of 2016. And for all money, I thought that ball was going dead. It was, once again, they've got so much attacking, kicking prowess, these Knights, whether it's Cogger on one side and Lamb on the other. So many options to go to. Yeah,
and really testing the Raiders' backfield there. And the way that they come onto the ball too, you watch Lamb and also Cogger in particular, they almost hide behind the ball, and then they pop out to the left-hand side or the right-hand side. So it's hard for the wingers to actually predict, and the fullback as well, which side they are going. This time Cogger, he sweeps around to that left-hand side and puts it on the toe. But the amount of possession that they've had, now we speak about it all the time and we keep drumming it in how important it is, because it harms your decision-making ability. You start falling off tackles. All these little things are all on the back of, you know, the amount of defensive workload that you've had to do. Tough kick here.
Let's see if he doesn't use the same slice I use on my golf shot here, Brock Lamb. This time he's got it on the radar. He moved it again, Alan Tongue. He moved it from left to right, but it added the extra points. And Brock Lamb is on fire using that very unique kicking style.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we see that there, Sopolala, the speed, couple tries already. Great effort there, but yeah, Brock Lamb, the kicking style that he has, it's the reverse to a JT. JT hooks it round, well, he slices it back. Amazing kick from the sideline.
Holden Cup results earlier this round. The North Queensland Cowboys 34 defeated the Sydney City Roosters 16, and the Eels 30 over the Dogs 20 last night. Cowboys on top of the ladder as we stand at this point in time. Now the Knights, they'll be looking to complete this set of 6 after points once again, and a good dart out of dummy half, and it's Gudgeon who looks like he's pulled up okay after that high knock from Dole. They're over the halfway line, and you tell you, the dummy half, Joe Morris, is dangerous out of there. This time the markers are equal to the task. Little play down the short to the open side. A second man play, it was Tom to Cogger. Bit of fancy footwork here from the Knights. And it'll be a good quick play of the ball on the 5th, meaning Lamb will have all the time in the world to kick. This time he's gone to the aerial attack and plenty of pressure for Van Dartel, the boy from Dubbo. He's got a swarm of Knights around him. Gee, that's a good kick by Brock Lamb.
It certainly is. Pinpoint accuracy, puts it up in the air there, and Van Dartel didn't have much opportunity to ramp up on the ball. And look at this kick chase as well from the Newcastle Knights. Really rolled their sleeves up coming out of their own end. Forces him back in goal there, and another set of 6 for the Canberra Raiders.
Pretty warm out there too. Of course, we don't have the shot clock here in the Holden Cup. I would imagine it's not as warm as it's been, though. They've had some really tough couple of heat conditions to deal with in the first couple of rounds. Some fresh legs out there for the Knights. Fully Avea's on the field, and he plays at centre field, 35 out. And now they go to the open side. Trying to open up this right-hand side, the Knights, and they come this way with Cogger. Second man play to Lamb, who just straightened up the attack and was able to get an offload as well. And now Meany's got the footy. Had limited opportunities this afternoon. This one he's able to promote the footy downfield. They'll go to the left-hand side, and the back rower's got the footy there in Robson, who looks to be one of their really experienced players. The Raiders are stripped for defence on the far side of the field. If they go to the left, the Knights will have some space, and Lamb sees that, hits the short runner. Probably needed to play out the back to the space. They're still skinny on the far side, but it is 5th tackle now, and Lamb's got the footy. He'll be looking for the repeat set of 6. Went to put it in behind. Great hands by Lewis. Scooped it up off his bootlaces. Brings it out and gets a penalty.
Yeah, once again, a much-needed penalty. Great work by Lachlan Lewis. He's opposite number 6 in Brock Lamb. Got a neat little kick in behind. He was waiting for it, Lewis. But you're right, they had him stretched to that left-hand side. He hit the short man, Brock Lamb. He should have played out the back there, but Lewis, slick pair of hands there, and gets it out of trouble, and then draws a penalty with a swinging arm coming over the top from the Newcastle Knights.
Lewis is a key player for these Raiders. 3rd year in the Holden Cup. He really needs to step up.
Yeah, he certainly does. We spoke about him last week. I don't think he got his edge players enough football out wide there, especially Lachlan Croker. He was the captain, and then main driving forces. They get another penalty, the Raiders. He really needs to step up with that experience that he does bring to the side, and Zach Wolford, but Zach Wolford certainly has done that the last couple of weeks.
You can see why Coach Brett White's so impressed with Dole. Just on that occasion, straightened the attack up, went for the quick play of the ball, and was able to draw the penalty. And some much-needed field position now for the Raiders, going with a good run from the kick restart. What have the Raiders got here? Had very few opportunities. Little tip-on play there was a beauty too. And the Knights' defence was stretched, but were able to drag him down in the end. Now they go forward again. It's Dole who's got the footy. He's only 10 metres out. They want to go to the right-hand side, and Lewis has got the footy. Looking back inside, scheming, gets a beautiful pass back on the inside, and it's try time. William Samuel on the field. It must be nearly his first touch, and he gets a try.
Yeah, he's only just come onto the field. The Raiders have made some changes as well, but back on the inside, well, a couple of penalties from the Newcastle Knights. Some ill discipline there. Lachlan Lewis, we just spoke about him. He needs to get heavily involved. This time he does. The show and go to start off, then draws the fullback. William Samuel only just on the field. He started the game on the bench, the big number 8, but great work by Lewis. Just finds some space back on the inside. The big front rower gets over for a 4-pointer underneath the post. The Raiders, well, they certainly needed that.
Well, he's a blue blood, Lewis. He's out of pretty good stock. I think he's a nephew of the great immortal Sir Walter.
Yes, he certainly carries a big name, doesn't he? Plenty of expectations on his shoulders, but that experience much needed.
First try for William Samuel in the Holden Cup, which is fantastic for him. What a way to crash over under the posts. As Wolford now, we put the mock on him last time. This time we'll just expect him to add the extra 2, and he does that. And it's 16-10, the Knights over the Raiders. No surprise, it's not rocket science. If you get the footy at the right end of the field, that's the second play of the ball in the 20. The first one brought points and the second one's done the same. Yeah,
it'll be a simple message, won't it, from Coach Brett White. You know, you hold the football, we've got enough strike in us to make them pay. And you'd think Todd Lowry as well, he'd be disappointed with the penalties that they're giving away down that end of the field. You know, there's some great kicks, and the kick chase has been fantastic for the Newcastle Knights, but some ill discipline there of just let them off the hook and come charging back in once again, the try scorer in Samuel.
Certainly did, and met by equally good defence. 3 or 4 Knights defenders in there. One of the key elements to the Holden Cup is that discipline for these youngsters, and the teams that tend to do it the best are the ones who normally come up trumps at the end of the day. Very slow play the ball there. Could have easily got a penalty for the Raiders. The Knights, and I think it was Cameron King, was all over them. They're certainly aiming up in defence. Good solid running by the Raiders, get it to the 40-metre line. Now they're rolling it downfield. This is a big charge here by Samuel again. He's certainly got some petrol in the tank now. Lewis has got the football, turns it back inside, trying to work the defenders around the ruck of the Knights. Connor Cheeseman it is on the field, who's also been one of the 2 Connors who've been outstanding for the Raiders. Here's a bomb from Lewis. It's big, high, wide and handsome. All the time in the world for Meaney. Good strike on the ball, but probably needs to work on how he can get his kick chase into that contest a little bit better. Yeah, that's right. And I mean, a lot of the kickers are Sopalola. Bounces out of a couple of tackles there. They try and take that time and that running opportunity away from the fullbacks there, put plenty of pressure, but you're right. They want to get a contest on that football. They've had no problems coming out of their own end, the Newcastle Knights. The big men have really done a good job now with a couple of replacements coming on. They need to continue that momentum. This time it's key. They certainly look like they've got a couple of tired forwards out there and some fresh legs is needed. One of those is Puliavea, who gets a great offload away, and Meaney's the man there. Can he do something with it? He beats the first defender. Good contact there by Lewis, wrestles him to the ground. Good ball and all tackles, shut him down on the 5th. Lamb's got the ball now. Will he run it? Short pass away to Glanville, who looked for support. Desperate defence once again by Lewis, showing his experience, shut it down the changeover. That's a huge play there by Lachlan Lewis. Great work by Glanville and also Brock Lamb. There was a half opportunity there. He came up with a desperation play before Lewis when he snuck out that little ball that was going to go into the in-goal, which was going to force another repeat set. That was a huge play, and so was this one here. That try-saving tackle almost on the inside there. A real opportunity, great desperation. The Raiders have also gone to the interchange bench. I see number 20, Stanley Takalui. Here's an opportunity for them. They just poke their head through. Jack Williams, you're right. Alan Tongue spotted him as the danger man on those edges, and he's certainly been that. Now Wolford just keeps going down that far tram line. He'll do it again. He went to go and he run into some lazy markers. Now it comes centre field, and we'd like to see a little bit more of Zeke Foster. He plays it now on the 5th tackle. They're 15 metres out. It should be an attacking kick by Lewis. Little grubber in behind. He's able to find it in the end goal. Sopalola knocked it on the player in front of him. Dead ball. It'll be a kick restart by the Newcastle Knights. Well, it's forced a repeat set there from Lachlan Lewis. His men on the outside on this left-hand side were hoping that he was going to kick across field, a high kick across, but he shifted the focus there and went back on the inside. Sopalola, who has been absolutely perfect, just couldn't pick that one up from off his bootlaces there. And Lachlan Lewis, we asked for him to be heavily involved. All of a sudden, he's injected himself over this last 10 minutes of play. I know you're a Canberra Raiders great, but I didn't realise you had such great connection to them. We asked for it, and all of a sudden it comes out for us. Not sure if I get when we end up for that one. We'll give you that one. Here's an opportunity for the Raiders to go on the attack. It must be their first repeat set of 6 for the afternoon, and certainly one of few opportunities with good attacking ball.
Don't spin. All the way.
William Samuel plays the ball 30 metres out. Geez, dangerous out of dummy half. Maybe a little too creative or a little unlucky this time, Wolford. Little trick shot that didn't quite come off, but good marker defence by the Knights.
Yeah, it was Jordan Pinnock there who actually put the pressure on Wolford a couple of times. No doubt Todd Lowry would have been saying every time young Zach Wolford gets an opportunity, he will take off from dummy half, put plenty of pressure on him, and this time they do. Jack Williams coming back on the inside. Just a bit of a collision there, but it was great marker defence there. Great awareness that he was taken off, plenty of pressure, good work to the interchange player in Jordan Pinnock.
And that's the type of energy that Todd Lowry wants to see from his interchange players as he goes on. A little unlucky there looking at it in replay for Zach Wolford. Went to turn the ball inside and the legs of the defender Pinnock just took out Williams. Running repairs here for one of the Raiders. He's getting, looks like there's some finger work needed to be done there. So repairs on the run, Al.
Yeah, that's right. Connor Cheeseman, the man, he's not long been on the field and fingers heavily strapped and some more attention there for the Raiders. Big defensive set required. Just over 5 minutes to half-time.
They'd love to be the next to score, the Raiders, because if the Knights can score to be a healthy lead, gee, that's good defence there by the Raiders. The speed of the lineman, that man Lewis, he's really pepped up since you got in his ear, Al. Now here come the Knights with an equally spirited charge by Henry Penn, who with the limited opportunities he's had has been very good. They come to the right-hand side, and it's Glanville backing his way downfield. Started this afternoon instead of being on the interchange bench. Here's Cogger. He just got a little bit lost, but got it to Lamb and a flat pass on the edge. Here's a chance for the Knights. They've gone in one side and out the other. It's Eddie Tuilatovea. And he's made a good charge downfield. What can the Knights do on the back of that? Out of dummy half, Morris gets it away to Lamb and back inside. Tried to reach out and put the footy down there. It was Puliavea, and he almost did it. Now they come centre for this time it's Lamb to Cogger. Cogger sees some space and went to kick in behind, but Van Dartle, the boy from Dubbo, did a wonderful job to retreat and bring the footy back.
Yeah, it was Kanoa Gudgeon. He wanted the football there too as a loose ball goes on the ground and Zach Wolford comes up with it and the ball bubbles free, but they're saying it was stripped out there from the Newcastle Knights. Yeah, Gudgeon, the man on the number 2 for the Newcastle Knights, he was calling for the kick there from Cogger, but it was great work by Van Dartle just to sniff that out and come up on the ball. As you can see, the ball coming free from Zach Wolford. And once again, a penalty against the Newcastle Knights with the Raiders hemmed right on their own try line. This is really hurting them.
Good call there by the pocket referee, saying that it was Gudgeon who ripped the ball out of Wolford's hand. And now they do a little bit of the heavy lifting once again. Speed of the line from Glanville met Samuel there at the defensive line. This time they're going to go more centre field. And the ball has shifted pretty quickly to the middle of the field, and Williams, this dangerous, he runs on the edge. He almost plays like a centre, but he is a back rower. Now there's space on the right-hand side, and Lewis sees it, a second man play, and now the fullback come in. Here's a good ball on the outside to Hickson. Hickson's able to get the ball away. What a try by the Raiders. They turned a defence into attack, and then attack becomes Zeke Foster scoring for them just before half-time, and we spoke about the importance of the Raiders getting points before half-time. Zeke Foster, the halfback, backed up down the inside. Great play by the Raiders.
Yeah, great work going down the short side. Heavily involved there, Lewis and also Wolford early on. Foster and also Hickson down that right-hand side. The interchange of passes back in. He was on debut last week, Zeke Foster. He built into the performance. He's had a couple of nice touches here again. His confidence, no doubt, growing. Great speed by Hickson down the on the outside there. Throws that ball back on the inside to Zeke Foster. Well, for all the possession the Newcastle Knights have had in this game, well, at one stage it was over 72 or 3%. To them. They've had all the field position, all the possession, and the Raiders have an opportunity here to lock it up at 16 points apiece just before half-time.
No doubt about it, that ledge has been much more balanced now. Back more towards that 60-40, and hence you're seeing some points from the Raiders. Great to see Hickson get the opportunity with the footy. Been caught out a couple of times defensively. On this occasion, he was able to show his jets and get down the outside, and good support play. Foster, we spoke about him wanting to come into the game, and he certainly has done that. Zach Wolford moves in and adds the extra 2 points. We've got a ball game all locked up at 16 all, just short of half-time.
Yeah, I think they'd be really disappointed, the Newcastle Knights, with the amount of opportunities that they have had down in the Raiders' territory there. As we see Zeke Foster, only his second game. and gets his first try in the Holden Cup. Great speed by Hickson, as you spoke about, down that right-hand side. And the Raiders, they're right back into it.
Always good to see a halfback supporting down the centre of the field. And the play that he put on before was very creative as well. Now, the Raiders, can they complete this set of 6 and try to get down the other end of the field? We've seen how potent they are when they get to the Knights side of halfway, and Samuel plays the footy. Now it's another big bookend. It's off the interchange bench. Takalua. He's able to nearly hold his feet too, and left a couple of Knights in his wake, which means he'll get a pretty quick play the ball, and they shift it to the centre field. Certainly willing to move the ball around, the Raiders. One of the Knights there was Morris saying that he thought he would have lost it. The ref said no, they're putting pressure on Wolford, a dummy half, which means there is some space defensively in behind the ruck. Knights desperately bring him down this time. Here's Wolford again. Here's that space we spoke about. And a good ball back on the inside. It's Lewis. He's got the ball back inside. It could be Foster again. He gets a double before half-time, and the complexion of this game has changed enormously, Alan Tongue.
Well, what about this? The Canberra Raiders, they get their fair share of possession, and this is what they can do. Some great work on a couple of occasions by young Zach Wolford once again. You talk about the pressure coming on him from the marker play there. He caught them napping on this time. Some deception shown there. He gives the ball away to Stanley Takalua, and then gives it back on the inside to Lachlan Lewis. Zeke Foster, we talked about his support play only moments before. It was Hickson. This time it's in Lachlan Lewis back on the inside. Great little offload by Takalua there. Zeke Foster bags himself a double underneath the post just before half-time. How quickly momentum can turn.
And one very happy former Raider next to me as well. He's bouncing around here at the moment. Great play there by Wolford. We spoke about it. The Knights would have looked at the tape and known how much he was going to come out of there, but he's continued to put little holes in behind, engage those markers, and those good halves pushing up behind those opportunity, as well as the big boy in Takalua jumping on the end of it and creating opportunity. The Raiders in front for the first time here at Hunter Stadium, and now they're leading by 22 points to 16 as the halftime hooter goes. That'll be the Raiders at halftime, leading 22 points to 16.
Well, and I think the key to the Newcastle Knights is their young halves as well. Langham and Cogger really directing around, getting back to what they did starting off in that game. When they held the ball, they shifted around, they caused plenty of headaches for the Raiders' defence there. They just need to continue with that.
No doubt about it. We're half-time in the first of 3 big games here on Super Saturday, and the Raiders kick off to the Knights, and there's a mistake from the kickoff. He had a big look up. Puliavea it was who turned the ball over. And like a repeat of the first half, the team running towards that southern end have the field position from the early stages. Wolford's got the footy now. Foster trying to set it up centre field. Cheeseman now. He sets the foundation, and he's got it in the perfect position, centre field in the right-hand upright. They go to the left. Lewis has got it. Big cutout pass to the edges. Here's a chance for that man we spoke about, Kotrick. This time the Knights were up to it, and they knew that he was the danger man. They put big numbers in front of him. Wolford, a double second man out the back to Lewis. Just lost a bit of momentum there. And Samuel had to stop and restart, and he'll play the ball. Gets a penalty, though.
Get that facial out of there. Straight up.
Referee saying a bit of a facial over the top there. More pressure for the Knights. They'll have to back up in a repeat set of 6 defending their own line. Here's Cheeseman with the footy. Good defence by the Knights. It was King over the top. Put a good hit on him and slowed his progress right in front of the uprights. They go to the left. Lewis, dangerous with the football in hand. This time he just tried to sneak the ball on the inside, decided to run it, and the Knights were desperate in defence. Now they come to the open through Foster. Foster too with some space. Glanville tackles him one-on-one and drags him down. Plays the ball back. Scheming at a dummy half was Wolford. Gee, did a good job to take the footy. Then Samuels, he was under enormous pressure with a face ball from Wolford and the Knights' defence. They've got to go to the left, the Raiders. The Knights are stripped defensively, and Lewis sees it. Gets it out the back. Unfortunately, the fullback in Williams wasn't able to hold the pass, and the Knights have got it.
Well, they had a huge opportunity to the left-hand side. They had a 2-man overlap on that edge side there, and the ball goes down from Trey Williams. Lachlan Lewis saw it. It was a bit of a tough pass, still should have been taken. Maybe the kick option was the play to go to there, but the Raiders, they miss a huge opportunity as the Knights with some strong carries coming out of their own end.
Done a good job in the first couple of tackles here, the Knights, to get out of their own end, and King will play it on the halfway line. Here's an opportunity. Cocker goes to the line. He's a brave little halfback. He's happy to take him on. Challenge those defenders, and his opposition in Foster drags him down. Lamb just taking the speed down off it a little now and trying to set it up. He wants the ball again to keep going to the right, and Raiders just struggling to mark up a little bit in defence on the keep going, and this time they go there quickly through Glanville. There's space on the edge, a little kick in behind. Can Gudgeon get through and get the footy? No, Trey Williams is up to it, picks the footy up, and is met in solid defence by the Knights.
Yeah, nice little kick in behind there by Henry Penn there. Gudgeon just couldn't get onto the football there, but plenty of pressure for the Raiders down their own end of the field, but a strong carry now, getting them out.
Van Dardel it was who got the ball. A good one-on-one tackle by Glanville dragged him down. Game just starting to get a little bit more ferocity into it. And it's Kotrick. He must have got the message as well. His touches in the second half have been much more than the first. Now the outside backs for the Raiders in Hickson coming in low. Lucky to get away with that play the ball. We've seen that penalised plenty of times in 2016. Fifth tackle now for the Raiders, and Wolford goes back to Lewis. The left footer, he bends the ball back towards the sideline. Oh no, there's a mistake there by the Knights fullback in Nick Meaney. Just left footer with that skewing type kick, just got away from him a little bit, put himself under pressure, and another opportunity for the Raiders.
Yeah, you can see Lachlan Lewis trying to bend that ball back there. It was almost like it had an opportunity there to let the ball bounce, or do I take it, Meaney? And he thought, no, I'm going to have a crack at it. When it knocks the ball over, and a huge opportunity for the Raiders. They missed a big one only a set before here on that left-hand edge. What can they do this time?
They'll be trying to look for the guidance of Lewis. His third year in the Holden Cup, as we spoke about earlier, and he turns the ball inside to this impressive youngster. He's only 17, Nick Kotrick. I believe he's got a big future down there in the nation's capital. Here's a charge too by the Raiders going centre field. It's that man Stanley Takalua. Good play the ball too. Lewis has got it with space, gets in behind the defenders, beats one and slams the ball down. Great work there by Lachlan Lewis, and the Raiders are the first to score in the second half.
Well, great evasion by the 5'8" in Lachlan Lewis. He has really stepped up the last 15 minutes of this game here. Back on the inside. He had Shake back on the inside there to Cheeseman. He shows and goes. Nearly found him again, but he had enough strength to reach out and put the ball down. Heavily involved. It was his kick that was fading away that's created the error there when Meaney dropped the ball. This time back on the inside, the left-hand fend comes out, he slams the ball down, and this time the Raiders, they get the opening points in the second half.
3 tries in 7 minutes to the Raiders, if you include the 2 tries just before half-time, and that just goes to show that, and you've spoken about this too, Alan Tongue, that they're no doubt about when they've got the footy, they're a dangerous commodity. Zach Wolford's now got the ball placed. I won't say it's an easy kick because we've put the mocker on him once already when he come in with 9 out of 10 percentage into this game. No problem for the skipper. Adds the extra 2 points, and they go to a lead of 28 points to 16, the Raiders. My goodness, this game has changed totally since just before half-time.
Yeah, and we spoke about, that possession in that first half. It was all one-way traffic to the Newcastle Knights, and I don't think they made the most of that opportunity. They were only just in front, and then the Raiders clawed back at the back end to take that lead into half-time, and now the Raiders, they've started really well. Oh, you can just see Zeke Foster here, a bit of a shorter kick there, but they've made the most of that field position early in this second half, and that's what they need to do.
Smart coaching here by Brett White as well, bringing Samuel off the bench. His impact's been enormous since he's come on the footy field, including a try. And now they'll play the ball 25 out from their own line. Wolford passing the ball centre field. Well, there's an offload I'm not sure they needed, and in the end Lewis sure to give his teammate a bit of a look to say, let's put it under your jumper and go forward. And that's what they're doing now, and going. Who gets a good ball away? The referee's called it forward. Had he have played on, an opportunity there would have been presented on the outside for the Raiders.
Wow, this was a line ball from Kalani going back on the inside to Trey Williams. You see, just gets his hand free there. Oh, did it come out of the hands backwards there? The referees called it anyway, but a missed opportunity And most sides and most coaches will say, you know, after points, play it simple, just get forward, get to the kick on the end. And I think Takalui, when he offloaded that ball there, I didn't think it was the right option. This time, Kalani going, got an opportunity, and he goes begging.
Very polite, Alan Tongue, because that was definitely passed backwards. Anyway, opportunity missed there. Oh, might be a little bit of an injury here. I think it might be Gudgeon who just come up fairly ginger out of that. In actual fact, it was Penn. That pass was forward. If the last one was forward, that one was a mile forward, and it definitely called that way by the referees who've got it spot on.
And last week, this really hurt the Newcastle Knights as well in the second half. A lot of drop ball and some ill discipline. That's almost a penalty. It's
gridiron.
It is. Yeah. But anyway, an opportunity here for the Raiders to hit back straight away. They would have been disappointed.
Here we are.
And a couple of those offloads there, even if we did think it did go back. Some simplicity there early. They're in front. They've got to maintain this pressure and continue to build it.
They must complete this set of 6, the Raiders, and try to get down the other end where they've been so potent. That's a good carry there by Luke Ellis, who's had very limited opportunities. Flat pass out of dummy half. He has got a head of steam up in William Samuel. Plays it on the Knights side of the halfway line. And here's that man. This time Takalui will be putting it under his jumper and won't be promoting the football. And he plays at 35 out. Lewis turning the ball back inside, working over this inside centre third of the Knights defensively. Now they go to the line. Samuel, now he's got a bit of ball playing in him. Had he able to get someone push up on his outside, there may have been an opportunity. 5th tackle now for the Raiders, looking for an attacking kick, or at least a repeat set of 6. Lewis decides to run it to Zeke Foster. This time it's out wide. Beats his first defender there in Chevy Ellis. Can he get to the line? I don't think so. He's going to be held up by Knights defence. If you're going to do an changeover, it's not a bad spot to get caught with the ball, although I'm sure they would have liked another repeat set of 6.
Yeah, certainly that's what they would have been aiming for, but it isn't a bad spot to end your setup there. And you can see the defence from the Raiders now racing up Kingsman and also Wolford in there. Some heavy contact here. They need to stay disciplined and not give away a penalty. The Newcastle Knights, you can see, struggling to get out. And good little offload there.
No doubt about it. They're not even going to die wondering, the Knights, an offload on their own 10. Now they're just struggling to get on top of. Good speed of the line by the Raiders. Just a little too anxious there, the Raiders, and it was Lewis, I think, that come up with the indiscretion and not being square in the marker play.
Yeah, Henry Penn got into dummy half there, tried to sneak a few metres in, too much in the tackle there from Lachlan Lewis, and this is what we were speaking about. You put all the pressure on the opposition, then all of a sudden you let them off the hook there with a relieving penalty like this. We've got a Raiders player down in the background. I'm not sure if that's young Zach Wolford.
You're spot on it. That's who it looks like. It looks like his hairdo, and it is. They've called for them to have a look at it. I wonder if he looks like he's certainly in some pain. He hit heads. Just looking, there's a tangle of bodies in there.
Just moving on now, Cascorn.
The referee just saying it might be time to move him. Maybe a little bit of gamesmanship there, do you think, by Zach Wolford, just taking a spell in the heat. I think he was generally looking at him getting back into the defensive line. The skipper certainly got a little knock there in the tangle of bodies. Well, the Knights with that relieving penalty kick it into touch. And once again, the defence very solid from the Raiders. Met him at the advantage line. Good quick play the ball though. Cogger's got the footy now. And here's more good defence. This time it's Wolford. They pick him up but do the right thing and just release him up in the air, which means another pretty quick play the ball. Cogger tips the ball on the outside now. And here's a chance. He's got some liveliness about him as Tuilaulea. He's still going. And Eddie brings the ball back 40 metres out. A lot of running, not a lot of metres forward. Now here's Pinnock with the footy. Once again, just trying to lay the platform for the Knights to play off the back of it. Thomas with the ball out now to Lamb. There's space on the edge, and they get it out now to Penn. And Penn beats his man, gets it inside to Glanville. Dummies inside, knocks over the defence of the fullback and slams it down. Son of the former Knights great and Mark Glanville started from was going to come off the interchange bench, started and is able to get up with the try that the Knights desperately needed.
Yeah, some nice ball movement once again to that right-hand side. He's just holding a bit of his left shoulder there, you can see, getting out of dummy half there. Brock Lamb heavily involved there. Penn gets his hands on the football. He's been a real handful out wide there for Kotrick. Gets the ball back on the inside to Glanville. Some strength there to get can't get over the line. Kalani going a last-ditch effort to try and hold him up over the line there. But a couple of the key players heavily involved. Penn, Lamb, back on the inside. Glanville, the show and go. You can just see Kalani going, comes over the top, just gets the ball down just in time.
Did a good job too, Glanville. I thought he might have taken the wrong option, but the fullback rushed at him and was able to keep his composure, knock him down, and come up with the right result for the Knights, and they really needed those points. 12 minutes into the second half, 28 points to 20. They can kick this from the conversion from the sideline. They've turned all the possession around because it's been all the Raiders in the second half.
Yeah, and you just see how important it was for the Newcastle Knights to get that penalty and how much it hurt the Raiders down the other end of the field in Lachlan Lewis, just doing a little bit too much in the tackle when they had all the energy and momentum on their side. They get out of jail free card, they kick it downfield, and then all of a sudden Glanville scores at the other end of the field. We keep constantly talking about discipline and how important it is. This time the Raiders, they show their real discipline. The Knights, well, they make them pay.
I love watching the under-20s coaches go through this. It's certainly a rocky road. They deal with the ups and downs of these youngsters, and that discipline, the first teams, the teams that can really get on top of that are generally the successful ones. Brock Lamb, we spoke about the kicking style in the first half. Let's see what he does with this one. Nice and flat. And over it. It may be a little bit ugly, but he's able to come up with the extra 2 points. I'm not criticising because 28-22 is the scoreline now, and Brock Lamb is a pivotal factor for the Knights coming out of their own line. They must complete this set of 6.
Yeah, he certainly is. Well, he's as important as Lachlan Lewis is to the Raiders as Brock Lamb to the Newcastle Knights. He's got great control over that football, doesn't he, the way that he kicks the ball. This is a short kick-off here by Trey Williams as it bounces up, and the Raiders get it back through Foster.
Yeah, it was ambitious by the Raiders and the right outcome as well. Now they turn defence into attack. The kick restart all of a sudden becomes them with the foot in the hand, and Cheeseman plays it only 15 metres out. William Samuel takes the ball forward and takes a ton of defence to drag him down. Great work there by the Knights fullback in Meaney, moving his defenders to the right-hand side to try and combat how stripped they were on that side. This time it's Stanley Takalua, and he plays it just short of the try line. Out the back to Zeke Foster, who gets it away to Williams, who's always a handful. The ball's bobbled out the back, and we've got a penalty. Strip called there by the referee. Right call, Al?
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. I thought it was a bit of a loose carry there by Jack Williams. His hands have let him down a couple of occasions last week as well. And they get away with this one, the Raiders.
And they go back on the attack through this impressive front rower in Daniel Dole. Over 205 metres last week. Flat pass on the outside. Wolford's done that a few times. And again, it's William Samuel who's got the football, trying to suck the defenders in so they can spread it wide, the Raiders. This time they go to the right-hand side through Lewis, who hits Williams again. He'll be hard to stop from there. He's big and strong. He's in the in-goal, but he's way too high standing up.
Third tackle. Just back in, mate. Take it out.
The referee's saying he's held up.
Back out 10.
Just wait,
Third tackle.
Push up marker.
Meaning they'll lose a bit of momentum now, the Raiders, and they'll need to reset back towards the post. They do that with Lewis, who gets the ball away now to Samuels, who's very keen for the footy here at Hunter Stadium, and he plays at centre field.
Too long.
Referee saying way too long there by the Knights. Jermaine Tanoa-Brown. They look like they're just struggling to stay with it a bit, the Knights, and giving away penalties to slow the pace of the game down. And it's Dole now who's got the footy right next to the right-hand upright. They go to the left-hand side. Lewis has got it. There's a little trick shot and good defence, well read there by the Knights. Glanville it was who come up and knocked him over one-on-one. They keep going to the left. Lewis with a flat, sharp pass. Great hands there by this exciting youngster in Kotrick. We had defenders all over him, mainly Henry Penn. Now the Raiders move it from the far eastern side to the centre field. Good defence by the Knights and not a lot of attack as Cheeseman plays the football. Lewis is the key, gets it away to Foster. Now there's some space on the edge. Can Ellis do something with it? Can he what? He beats one, he beats two, he gets to the in-goal. Has he been held up there by Sopalula? And also Meaney, I think it is, coming over the fullback. They're saying no, held up.
Wait.
Again,
Raiders, huge play there from the Newcastle Knights. Chevy Ellis put some hot stepping on to get through, and great desperation from the Newcastle Knights. Last play here to the Raiders.
Fifth tackle now. They'll be looking for a repeat set of 6. Foster, great kick towards the post, bounces off the post and back into the hands of the Knights. As a youngster, you're taught kick towards the post. He did exactly that, Zeke Foster, on this occasion. It just didn't quite work for them. He was very unlucky.
It didn't, and it bounced up into Ryan Glenville's hand. Now, he's got some trouble with his shoulder there from that try that he scored. I'm sure he come out holding it. He's in some trouble there in the back play, holding that left shoulder.
Yeah, good observation there by Alan Tongue. He's certainly in a little bit of distress as his teammate Penn takes the footy downfield. Much better out of their own half this time, the Knights, and a good set of 6 gets it to the halfway line on the 5th tackle. They need a good kick. There's pressure. Good pressure here by Williams. It's a charge down, and fortuitously for the Knights, but I think, nearly a one-on-one steal there by Kotrick. A little bit happening, and that's in that last set of 6 there, the play. A cramp by Henry Penn, is that what we got?
I think it is, yeah. They're coming out to get that. I'll move that to the side there. But Jack Williams come out to put kick pressure on, and they said he's played at the football there. I thought it was, plenty of kick pressure there, so a little opportunity for the Newcastle Knights. They dodge a bit of a bullet, as you can see, Glanville. Whether it's his elbow there as well. You see Kotrick trying to get that one-on-one strip on his opposite centre there in Henry Penn.
Yeah, here's a knock on there. I think it might be Tanoa Brown, is it? Or was it Pulley Avea? No, it is Tanoa Brown, the big front rower, who pretty simple hit up. Good defence by the Raiders. Pretty poor ball carry, meaning he come up with the error, and now the Raiders will get a chance in the Knights' side of the halfway line.
I really like the look of the Newcastle Knights, the style of football they play with their halves, with Cogger and Lamb, and the way they shift from one side and they sweep together in partnership. They've got some big fellas that roll their sleeves up and get forward, but they're ill-disciplined, and that consistency, they just can't find their groove at the moment. If they get that right, they're going to be a very, very good football side.
The statistics always tell the tale there, and we see the Knights coming up with 4 errors to 2 for the Raiders in the second half, and that's why the Raiders have been the point scorers. Let's see what they can do with the footy in hand this time. And they play the ball just into the Knights' side of the halfway line. Gee, he's been impressive since coming off the bench. We've called him so many times, William Samuel. Lays a really good foundation for the Raiders to go forward. And Cheeseman too. He's one of the Connors. The other Connor broke his jaw during the week, which is a big loss off the interchange for Brett White's Raiders. Now Lewis has got the ball. Bit of shape and a second man out the back. Knights defence very good on Trey Williams, able to match up and shut him down fairly easily. Wolford going down the short side, getting more ball to Kotrick, which is what we suggested they needed more of. Good defence there by Henry Penn, drags him down. Centre field now, looking for a little kick in behind for a repeat set of 6. Better than that, because Lewis picks it up off the legs of the Knights, and it'll be another try to the Raiders. And they'll go to a comfortable lead with the kick to come just next to the post.
Well, great work by the little fullback, Trey Williams. He gets heavily involved, and the whole of the Raiders, they were waiting for it, all charging through, and it was Lachlan Lewis who jumped on it. You can see Trey Williams puts it on the ground. There's 3 or 4 Raiders in and around the football. Lewis beats them all to it and scores beside the post there. Great little kick, great touch, great work once again by Lachlan Lewis.
Good variation there by the Raiders. This time was the fullback in Trey Williams coming up with the kick in behind. And his runners knew that it was on. That man Lewis, very keen to be near the football when the game's there to be decided. This time picked it up well, had all the time in the world, and pretty important, really important points for the Raiders. And Simon Wolford likes the position of this kick. The closer to the post, the better. As we see the sun blazing down here in Newcastle. Big day of rugby league here at Hunter Stadium. The first of 3, and pretty tough old battles normally between the Raiders and the Knights. Wolford adds the extra 2 points. The Knights must be next to score, Alan Tongue.
Yeah, they certainly are. There's still plenty of time left in this football match. So you see there 20 minutes to go on the clock. So they don't need to be too disciplined or too chaotic with the way they play. Lachlan Lewis there, you can see him being heavily involved and done some great work there. Really steering them around. Lachlan Croker in that NRL side again this afternoon. So he's really steering the ship. But I want to give a big rap. I know you've talked about him a couple of times to William Samuel. Off the bench there, 16 hit-ups. He's been outstanding, and here he goes again.
Smart coaching by Brett White might have put a little bit of fire into the belly of the big boy, and he's responded accordingly. So have his teammates as he comes for a much-needed spell, and we see Afamua back on the field. Here's Wolford with some shape. Gee, when they play that shape, they look good. And Lewis almost able to get through the Glanville tackle. He hangs on desperately. Quick play the ball, and they keep going. And he runs straight into his opposite number 9 in Joe Morris. He'll be sick of the side of Zach Wolford by the end of the day. One of the Knights is cramped up in backplats. Glanville, he can't get back in the defensive line. So the Knights have only got 12 defenders as the Raiders put some big holes, and they need to go to the left-hand side. That's where he's not on the line, and here they go. Here's a chance by the Knights scramble. Glanville in big trouble with those cramps. Wolford a little kick towards the posts, and Cogger went back and picked the footy up and snuffed out the danger.
Yeah, great work there by the Raiders. There's a little half opportunity. Wolford tries to get in behind. You can see the Newcastle Knights. They're bunched up around the back there. They're tired. This is a big set. There's their little men come in from the backfield now to try and get some cheap metres.
Sopalola's got a double already this afternoon and could have easily got a penalty. I thought Afamui was certainly nice and aggressive over the top. Raiders looking to stamp their authority in defence as the Knights bring it out of their own line. Great work here by the winger once again, rolling the sleeves up for his second scoot or second hit up in this set of 6. Flat pass away now. Not too many options. Flat pass was a forward pass, and if the pressure valve wasn't big before, the forward pass to Jake McNamara meant that it is now for the Newcastle Knights.
Well, it goes from bad to worse, doesn't it? And this is what the possession, when it swings back the other way, can do to you. The decision-making, it goes downhill, and this time to Jake McNamara there, as we spoke about the forward pass from Joey Morris out of dummy half there.
Just push up, lads.
And the Raiders, another great attacking opportunity.
Looking at Glanville, he's gone off at the back of the field, and also looking at Fighter Tower out here in the left-hand side of the centres defensively, also cramping up. So the Knights feeling the pinch. In the meantime, Dole, he continues to put a real hole in them, and he'll play at centre field. Raiders on the attack. Cheeseman also been super impressive, and another good carry. Takes big defence to drag him down. They come to the right-hand side with Lewis. A little trick shot back on the inside to his half partner in Zeke Foster. Knights' defence was equal to the task, but it's put a fair dent in them. And now they come centre field. Ooh, that was a bit of a juggle there by Daniel Dole. Able to hang on to the footy, he's certainly impressive. And he plays it centre field a couple of metres out. Flat pass from Wolford to Afamui. And Afamui still trying to get to the try line. He's got 3 Knights defenders. He's probably better off being in field than being held up. And he is short. The referee calls him short. They've got to come to the right, the Raiders. Lewis knows that. He gets the footy. Little kick in behind. Knights' defence are equal to, but gee, the defence was good by Chevy Ellis. Jammed the Knights fullback in the in goal, and it'll be a dropout restart by the Knights.
Well, it was good play all round from both sides there. There was numbers to the right-hand side for the Raiders, but the defence from the Newcastle Knights, they came up and in, and Sopalola really trying to shut that off. The option was to kick him behind. They did that, but great work by Meany. The fullback came around, stopped that. They've got another big defensive set of 6, so the Newcastle Knights, they need to hold the Raiders out here. Just over 15 minutes to go to full time. They've
been under the pump, the Knights defensively. They've certainly had the weight of possession, and the stats showing that Raiders 66% and the Knights right down to 30-odd. What are we seeing here, Al?
Just a strip there, coming in, a quick tap there from Zach Wolford.
And they're on the go too, the Raiders, and why wouldn't they be? And Afamui looks like he might have been injured. I thought he might have been a little slow coming up from that hit-up. Didn't see too much in the tackle, but he's got his knee heavily bandaged. I wonder if it's that. He's holding a bit of his chest there, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened here when he falls to the ground there, Sione Afamui. There's not too much in it there that we can see. And whether it's something with his ribs there, the way he's been twisted over, or I'm not too sure about that. He's in a world of hurt there. It might be ribs.
Oh, the ribs. You would have had a few of those in your day, Al?
I did, unfortunately. Really painful to get through there. Knocked the wind out of you.
We seen last week Manu Vatavai in that game with the Broncos up there, the Warriors. He had to stop play to go off. So, oh yeah, he's in a good deal of pain here, Sione Afamui. often those twisting type tackles that bring those injuries. And going back to that possession there, yes, the swing in possession this game's been enormous, and we're now seeing 66% to 34 in favour of the Raiders over the Knights in the second half.
And that's what we spoke about in that first half. The Newcastle Knights, they had all that possession and all the stats were their way, and I don't think they did enough with it. And with the Raiders coming into halftime with a lead, it was a huge credit to them, and it's all turned around, and the Raiders have made the most of that in that second half, that double to Lachlan Lewis. This will be a juggle for them, though. Sione Afamu, he has been great. He's a Queanbeyan Rouge junior. Plays up front. He does a lot of strong carries. He's been strong again today. He's had a short little stint on the interchange bench, but it'll mean a bit of a reshuffle in the middle there around their pack.
Some of these statistics coming out of this game has been phenomenal as we look at Lachlan Lewis, who he's been the key for the Raiders, no doubt about it. And we spoke about the importance being third year of Holden Cup. Looking at him here in the vision, I love how he goes to the line, squares up those defenders, puts pressure on those inside defenders, and if his runner doesn't get the football, he's the best option with the ball in hand.
Yeah, I spoke last week in commentary about the Raiders, the depth that they played with their halves. They were playing deep to their halves, but playing with a lot of pressure to their edge back rowers, playing flat and short. He needs to get the ball and he needs to take them on. He needs to play flat on the advantage line. When he does that, he's got great deception in his game. He sets up big fellas inside and out of him, and he's causing havoc.
Speaking of statistics, tackled in the opposition 20. In the second half, the Raiders 28 and the Knights were 0. And I think it was something like 28-3 in the first half the other way around. We've seen this. It's been like it's on a seesaw going one way and the other. Just looking at this distressing signs here for Sione Afamu, is in a whole deal of pain there. And we anticipate, well, we know it's ribs. Very similar to the Manu Vatavai. They're going to have to put him back, not put him down, but lay him back down.
Hope they don't put him down.
At the moment, he's probably happy to be put down. But, yeah, no, they're calling for the stretcher here, Al. So doing the right thing, the trainers taking their time and making sure they're looking after him. But pretty innocuous tackle as we look at the replay.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too much in it at all, but this is, you know, when they can happen, just with that twisting motion, as you'd spoken about there, just goes down, and the way he crunches back over, just...
On the footy, I think.
Yeah, so, yeah, like we said, it doesn't look like too much in it, but as we see the Medicab come out there for Sione, some real problems there. And for the Raiders going forward as well.
And who will this favour the best now, Al? At 34 points to 22 with about 15 to go. I mean, the Knights are certainly out on their feet, but they do trail on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they're still going to have some, you know, the scoreboard pressure with the clock counting down there. But I think, you know, it does help them, the fact that the Raiders had so much possession here, and it's been all on their own try line there, that this break in play will do them the world of good. But it will mean a big shuffle for the Raiders there. They'll have to bring on interchange player. It looks like Jaden Thomas will come back onto the field, but it'll mean a bit of a shuffle there.
And we've seen plenty of great tries in this game of footy. Lots from both teams, and we're just looking at this highlights now, and it's that man Lewis we spoke about, showing the ball on the inside, able to get the ball over the try line. Just love how he really holds up those defenders on the inside.
Yeah, just setting it up with the players on his inside, and he's out there. And that's when he takes the ball to the line and on the advantage line. But the Knights, they hit back there out this right-hand side. Penn heavily involved. And then it was Glanville who was back on the inside there. A show and go. Great strength. But he picked up a bit of an injury, and I'm sure it was out of this play too. Come up with some cramps as well. So he's actually left the field. But this is what the Knights can do with their style of attack. They shift from one side of the field to the other. They try and build numbers on you. Great show of strength by this young man, gets it over, but Trey Williams with a nice little kick in behind, and Lachlan Lewis once again on the spot to get his second in the second half.
We spoke a lot about it, the fact he had to come into the game, use his experience. He's pushed up everywhere the opportunity is. On this occasion, he's the one doing the running after the footy, and the good kick in behind. Great presence, and a try it was, and a very important try to the Raiders. As we see Sione Afamu on the Medicab, never a good sight to see. He's obviously got some real ribs issues there, and he'll be a loss for them as well. I imagine that will keep him out for a couple of weeks too, quite potentially.
Yeah, that's right. And then you also think of Daniel Dole going on report. I think he might miss a little bit of time there too, unfortunately. So a couple of their real leaders in their forward pack. And as we look forward for the Raiders, they play the Titans at home in round 4. And then they've got a couple of away trips to the Bulldogs and Parramatta, who have started well as in the Holden Cup. So, you know, it's going to be a tough little shuffle for Brett White and his men, as we hope Sione all the best there. Going to be a long bus trip back to Canberra, let me tell you, with busted ribs.
Let's hope that he gets at least to lay down to the back or something. Hopefully the boys look after him as Jaden Thomas comes back on the footy field, and he'll play it now. Raiders to the open side. Stanley Takalui's got the footy. Important the Knights can defend this set of 6 if they're going to stay in this game. And Lewis gets it to the edge. There's some space and a big cutout ball. The Raiders going very close to the try line. And it was that man, Harry Van Dartel, who plays it only a metre out. Kotrick's got the ball out of Dharma. Geez, big and strong with that fend. Knights are aware of it as well, and they come through and shut him down with some solid defence. Wolford goes back the short side, turns it back inside. Looks like it's going, playing in that left-hand corridor there. He'll play it on the 50-metre out. Wolford gets the ball away to Lewis. He'll be looking for a repeat set of 6. Goes to the line, comes off the legs of the Knights. Did he say it's play at? Yes, it'll be 6 to go. So unlucky for the Knights, but lucky for the Raiders. Did he not play it with his foot?
From the kick back here, I was still receiving information. He was offside.
Okay, so the referee's saying receiving information that he was in fact offside. Wasn't sure because it come off the Knights' legs, was he deemed offside or not. And it was a bit late, the call, but they got there in the end.
Yeah, that's right, and it was the right call. He was in an offside position here, back on the inside. The penalty comes away, the referees get it right there, and the Newcastle Knights, they needed that penalty. Well, here's their opportunity. They're behind on the scoreboard. They need a couple converted tries to get back into it. They haven't got time on their side.
And the Knights, now they're trying to lay it down the middle, and I think it's King that's got the football. He plays it just short of the halfway line. McNamara in at dummy half. Good defence by the Raiders. The speed of the line was good. And the defence is equally. There's a little tip-on play there by the Knights. Put a fair bit of pressure on King. But he was able to hold the ball and play. Now Cogger's got the footy away to Lamb. They go to the edge, trying to see if they can come up with something through Robson. They've come up with a penalty. That'll help.
Yeah, certainly will. Another set of 6 for them. They'll drive this ball down. And as we said, just over 13 minutes to go.
Here we are, guys.
Yeah, pivotal, the Knights are the next to score. They kick the ball into touch and come centre field. Robson, who beats the first defender. There is big space out on that right-hand edge for the Knights because the Raiders' defence come a long way in. Now it's Cogger with the ball away to Lamb. Out the back now to Meaney. Meaney gets the ball on the outside. He's already scored one this afternoon. Fired a tower, but he couldn't quite come up with it. Desperate defence by the Raiders, drag him down. Poor pass out of dummy half meant the Knights needed to start and go again. And Tui Lotta-Laver's got the ball centre field. He could be the man that comes up with the creative for the Knights. They go to the wrong side for Cogger, who has to just basically succumb to the Raiders' defence. Able to promote a couple of extra metres, but no real attack. McNamara gets it away to Lamb. At the back now to Meaney, who grabbed at the ball and did a really good job to hang on to it. Knights not a lot in attack here, and it's already the 5th tackle. Out of dummy half, McNamara kicked it into the Raiders, bounced into another Raiders' hand. The Knights screaming for an offside, but I don't think that was the case, and they dodge a bullet, the Raiders.
Yeah, Jake McNamara had all his chasers onside on his outside there too. A little opportunity. It bobbles back up into the Raiders' hands, and they just work it out of their own end now. They'll slow this down as much as they can, even drive the ball into touch.
I'm sure that Brett White is saying to them, let's just put it up under our jumper and run it forward. Good defence by the Knights. King it was who come out of the line. He's put a couple of shots on today, letting the Raiders know. I tell you, I think he might have come out a little worse to wear. That Wolford creative out of dummy half, just relieving the pressure as he got away to Thomas. And on the 5th tackle, Thomas will play it 40 out from his own line. They've gone back a fair way to kick this ball. Good kick pressure from Brock Lamb, but an equally good kick there by the fullback in Trey Williams. Gee, did a good job then.
He certainly did. He was going for a 40-22, so it was good work by Meany, the fullback, to get that out. Plenty of pressure, though. This is a huge set of 6 for the Newcastle Knights.
The Knights need these experienced halves in Cogger and also Lamb to bring him into the game. They've got to be down the other end of the footy now as it's Fighter Toa. Plays the football. They come to the left-hand side. Here's Cogger. He gets the ball away to Tuilata Lava. It's a bit of a handful, that one, isn't it? Plays it just on the halfway line. Now, Tanoa Brown met in good defence by the Raiders. Speed of the line. Dole once again. He's so honest all day long. Here's a kick from Lamb, 2 off the ruck. It's a bomb straight up and straight down. Oh, it was an air swing by the Raiders. The winger on that far side there, I think it was Van Dartle. He had an absolute air swing, but thank goodness the Raiders come up with the footy.
Yeah, it was Kalani getting back there as well as Dartle goes from the dummy half now. Back on the inside to Trey Williams.
As well. Have a look at Trey Williams. He was able to push up on the inside. You're right, Al, it was good vision by Van Dartle. Got the ball to the inside. Trey Williams, it was shut the gate. And the Raiders, you would think that probably puts it to bed. A try under the post. They turned defence into attack pretty quickly there, Al.
Yeah, it certainly was. He came up for the air swing when he went for the ball there, Van Dartle, but he got out of dummy half, pushes away there from Pinnock there and gets the one-hand offload away to Trey Williams, back up on the inside. All great fullback supporting in a half opportunity. Trey Williams shows that and shows a ton of speed to race away under the posts. And you would think that is enough for the Canberra Raiders after the huge statistics that faced them in the first half, how far they were behind. They went into half-time in front, 22 points to 16. They've scored 3 second-half tries. This is the third one of them to Trey Williams. It was a nice little kick only moments before that he laid on a try for Lachlan Lewis. This time his support play back up on the inside.
Plenty to work with here, Coach Brett White, because they had some adversity leading into this. Not only the injuries, but I spoke to them last night and they were training at Wyong. So their option was to stay at Wyong and get the bus up today. So no doubt about it, they have to do their apprenticeship, these 20s. And they've certainly done that today as Zach Wolford moves in, strikes it straight over the posts and adds the extra 2 points. What have the Knights got to do here, Al? How can they possibly get themselves back into this game with 8.5 on the clock?
Yeah, well, I think it might be too much for them, but I mean, they'll go a short kick-off here. You'd have to think they just need a possession and they need to score in this next set of 6 if they are any chance whatsoever.
Jared Toot on the field, and then skipper Zach Wolford is the one that's interchanged. Short kick-off by the Knights. They're able to come up with the footy too, and this is the opportunity that we've spoken about. They must be the next to score, and pretty quickly Tanoa Brown plays the footy. Now it's Amy's got the ball. Good defence again by Dole. He's a beauty, Dole, no doubt about it. And the Knights play it 2 metres out. Brock Lamb, the architect, gets the ball away. Second man to Robson. Robson met in good defence, and Lewis it was that led the speed of the line. Gives away the penalty there. It was probably one he was happy to give away. Give his defensive line a chance to reset.
Got to take it back.
And that slows him down even more because the referee's telling Jake McNamara needs to go back towards the pocket referee.
Wait. Go back here, go back here.
Now they're having a cup of tea almost. There must be a specific spot they want there, Al, I think.
And the clock is ticking away too, which is hurting them.
Tanoa Brown's got the ball now. You're right. Absolutely, it's hurting them. He's got a good platform here. Centre field 2 metres out. They go to the left. Cogger to Lamb. Flat pass to Fighter Toa. Great defence there by the Raiders. It was Williams that wrapped him up. Now the Knights looking a little bit out of shape here. And it is that man, Tui Lotaleva, who plays at centre field. Cogger's got the ball. Short pass on the outside to Robson. Lamb desperately wants the ball and wanted it then, but he still wants it on the keep going. And they play it a couple of metres out. Knights desperate to score a flat pass out of dummy half. Great hands there, able to hold the ball. They go to the right-hand side. Lamb gets the ball away now to Penn. A little kick in the in goal. Raiders kick the ball dead. It'll be a dropout restart. The Knights probably would have liked a little bit more out of that set of 6.
Yeah, they certainly, and they needed points basically. They needed to come up with points on this occasion, and no shot clock here, so the Raiders will really be trying to play the ball down as quickly as they can. Henry Penn, he's been a handful on that outside there. Big Fen, he's had a really good battle with Kotrick out wide there. Haven't seen as much of Kotrick as we have in the first couple of weeks, and it's probably due to his defence. He's done really well out wide. This time the kick goes too long.
Come on, let's go.
As you say, Al, there's no shot clock in the 20s. They have the 2 referees, no video referee, but they have the 8 interchange as well.
Yep, that's right. He has actually stopped the clock now. They've taken too long, the Raiders. They're happy to wind that down, get the breath back.
Good kick here by Lewis. He strikes it beautifully with that left foot. Amy's got the football. The Knights need to be the next to score, and Brock Lamb screaming instructions to them. Centre field now. Tanoa Brown's got it. Nearly beats the first defender, but Cheeseman come again and did a wonderful job to wrap him up. They go right-hand side. Cogger to Lamb. Lamb away to Penn, who thought about letting the ball go. It was a ball out in front of him, and he comes up with the error. And I think that'll be all she wrote for the Knights.
Yeah, I think it's game, set and match, isn't it, to the Canberra Raiders. And they turned around a slow start in the first half to really race home there. And they were building nicely out to that right-hand side. And Henry Penn, the ball just going out in front.
Let's go, Raiders.
Lamb, Cogger combination, just not firing like it did in those first few sets in the first half, in particular, the opening 20, 30 minutes. It was all Newcastle Knights.
Kotrick's got the ball, and tell us a little bit more about him. As a 17-year-old, he's 96 kilos already. Big raps on him down your way.
It is. He's a Valley Dragons junior. He's had some, as you see, Jack Williams, a really strong carry. Yeah, he's been in the pipeline for a while, and the Raiders have been really excited about him. You've just got to take your time. He's got to keep developing, keep working hard, and working hard away from the game as well. As you spoke about, it is a big challenge for these young men travelling away, but they've also got to study or work full-time. You've got to balance that as well. You're not allowed to play in the under-20s competition if you're not working or studying full-time. So they've got to juggle a lot of things, these young men, to get just onto the footy field on a weekend.
Great play there, as you called, throughout the run of Jack Williams, who was able to get a quick play of the ball. Here he is again with the footy. He's more than happy to roll the sleeves up. There's that quick play of the ball again, and once again the dummy half out of there is Jack Hickson. He's smart enough to know to go off a dummy half scoot behind him. Knights this time throw the Raiders on the ground, and it's Jared Toot on the field. Solid defence by the Knights. This time the Raiders move at centre field. And the fullback coming in with a lovely little touch in Trey Williams. Talked about that speed earlier. He put some defensive pressure on, that's for sure. They keep going. Here's a good scoot out of dummy half by Going, and he gets over the try line. Well, we thought it was shut down. Kalangi Going, able to get the ball down, and that was just sheer determination to get over the try line.
Determination and brute strength. He mightn't be too tall. He's only short in stature, this young guy, but let me tell you, he is a pocket rocket. He is strong as in contact. You see him do this. He gets an extra 3 or 4 metres. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 Knights defenders there. They can't take him to the ground. He was an SG ball star for the Canberra Raiders. He's made his transition into the 20s last year, and he's taken his game to another level again in 2016. Great strength, reaches out with that left hand and plants it down. Great carry, great 4-pointer, and a great way to finish the game for the Canberra Raiders.
No doubt about it. As you know, Al, you've done it plenty of time. Very difficult to come to Newcastle from Canberra and come away with the chocolates, and they're doing that this afternoon, and it's turning into quite a comprehensive victory for the Raiders. And Brett White, he's a pretty excitable fella. He'd be pretty happy, I imagine, Whitey, with this performance, especially considering the factors, and those statistics at half-time to be leading were quite phenomenal. Trey Williams has now got the ball placed, got a good percentage record as well. The skipper, Zach Wolford, off the field. He'll be taking over the kicking duties. Nice and low and flat. He adds the extra 2 points, and this is certainly turning into a great victory for the Raiders. And heading towards one of the best victories they've ever had here in Newcastle. And I think in all the time that they've come here over the years, there's been some wonderful battles between the two clubs, and this is a big start. Here's a big start by the Knights. The fullbacks come through. Nick Meaney and got the footy and taken it all the way down the other end to 8 metres out from the Raiders' line. Can the Knights finish with a bang? Only a couple of minutes to go. Brock Lamb gets the ball quickly to Robson. A good pass to the edge. Bit of acrobatics as well, and it'll be a try to Gudgeon. Kanoa Gudgeon is able to get the ball down, and he did it in spectacular fashion too, Al.
He certainly did. He needed to as well. He didn't have much room to work with, some consolation points at the back end, but this was Meaney who comes steaming through there. The ball bobbled up, but he got that and got him into some good field position. And then they had to shift the ball out to that right-hand side in Gudgeon. On the back end of that backline movement, a cut-out ball there by Robson. Needed to get up in the air, take out that touch line as they kick from touch now. And they do get it. What another great kick from Brock Lamb.
He took no time to think about it either, Brock Lamb. He knew that the clock was the enemy. It's more than that with only a minute to go. Beautiful strike from the sideline. Can't these wingers score tries in all grades these days? That was outstanding.
Yeah, it certainly is, isn't it? And they practice a lot of this too, don't worry. Getting up in the air, Kanoa Gudgeon. Fantastic try, but too late for the Newcastle Knights.
Raiders will take an eternity to kick off here. They'll let this clock run right down as much as they can. Impressive performance and plenty to watch. Really impressed with the 5'8" for the Raiders this afternoon. Lachlan Lewis has been one of many key factors. Here's a spirited charge from Tyrone Amy from the kick restart. Defence equally as good from the Raiders, and it was the halfback too. He's not afraid to throw his body in there, Foster. Here's Tanoa Brown looking for an offload. Gets it away too to McNamara. Space on the edge for the Knights. Lamb dummy, and the inside defence was good enough by Lewis to drag him down just short of the halfway line. Bit of space down the short side and good vision by the Knights. Gudgeon, it is the man again who unfortunately couldn't get the kick he would have liked. Back on the inside. That's the full-time siren. Raiders, far too good for the Newcastle Knights, running out eventual winners, 46 points to 28.